So let's get more reaction on the e-tolls saga. Could the ANC be using the scrapping of e-tolls to gain popularity as we approach local government elections in October? To discuss this with me is DA leader in Gauteng, Solly Msimanga. Solly, thank you for joining us this afternoon. What's your view on that? Is this just a political ploy?
Well, we have been saying this for the last 8-9 years, that this is a political ploy that will continue to play itself out. On the public space. Every time we get closer to elections, we are told that the decision is imminent or an announcement of a decision is imminent, and voila, people are then, back to not knowing exactly what is happening. And today is a classic example of that, of the confusion that seems to be reigning between what is happening at a provincial level and what is happening at a national level. We have asked that the Premier actually start a process of an intergovernmental dispute, as had been done in the Western Cape in a matter like this. And they've been, reluctant to do it. In fact, last week when we put a motion of no confidence, to have, the declaration of the e-tolls as an unwanted system in Gauteng, and in fact asking the Premier to lodge an intergovernmental dispute, the ANC voted against it. So they say one thing in the public, but when they are empowered or the steps are there for them to take in order to end this once and for all, we see the kind of frustration and confusion that we're seeing right now.
But it doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, there's embarrassment. One side or the other is embarrassed because of this contradiction. One person says something, the other says no decision's been made. I can't understand how that's to any benefit for the ANC coming up to the local government elections, this constant contestation around it.
Well, you would remember, before the 2019 elections, the ANC, marched to the ANC minister to ask the ANC minister to talk to the ANC president to scrap the e-tolls that the ANC had actually approved in the first instance. So there's nothing confusing from their background or from their perspective in terms of what is happening. What we want and we're asking for is for the e-tolls to be scrapped, and there is a process that needs to be followed in this regard.
But Solly, let me ask this. Is it fair to scrap something that cost as much as it did? Someone's got to pay. How will it be paid for?
I agree with you, and we have been making this proposal for a very, very long time. One is that, by law, there's actually an amount of money that is supposed to be coming from the fuel levy, right? If you look at how much the fuel levy is collected, you'd realize that we could have paid for the e-tolls and even for more upgrades 10 times over. Now, we were saying that if you were to take about 10 cents per litre and, take it towards the e-tolls, you would have actually paid by now. In fact, since we've made that pronouncement, the fuel levy has gone up by 3 rand, which then tells you that we could have paid for so much of this tolls, and people wouldn't have been threatened in a manner that they have been threatened with the ARTO and all of those things. And I think this is something that the ANC has to take a full brunt for.
Do you have any idea, Solly, how much or how many of the road users in Gauteng are actually paying from a percentage point of view? I mean, I'm assuming there's a large culture of non-payment. How many people are actually paying?
It is less than 7%. It is less than 7% of the people that are paying. And in fact, the numbers have been growing, have been diminishing actually over the couple of years. We have been saying this to the Premier, who had actually instituted a commission that has cost the residents of Gauteng millions of rand. And that same report is a report that we said, take the same report, go to your national counterparts and say to them, this is what the people of Gauteng have been saying. This is an unjust system that they won't want. They are not going to be paying for it. And, they continue to defy an unwanted and an unjust, system. And this is what we are seeing over and over again.
Solly, just on something completely different, because it's big news over the weekend, what's the view of the DA on Zweli Mkhize and the Digital Vibes saga? What are you saying?
Well, look, when I heard this for the first time, it was like I was having deja vu. We've had something similar, you'd remember with the MEC in Gauteng, where close associates and family members had been, involved, in contracts that shouldn't have been awarded in the first instance. And listening to experts on this particular subject who have said some of the monies that have had been paid to, to this company are very much questionable. I mean, how do you pay to have a press conference on a topic, on an ongoing topic that is very topical, in a country, and you paid millions to have journalists there? I mean, it doesn't really make sense. And this is why we are asking for Dr. Mkhize to step aside and for a full investigation to be conducted as it has been done in Gauteng, and for the final results to be made public, and nothing should be swept under the carpet. I think we have seen enough corruption to last a lifetime around the issue of COVID-19 and the millions and billions that have just disappeared and continue to disappear.
Thank
and
you
this
very
cannot
much.
continue.
Thank you very much, Solly Msimanga, DA leader in Gauteng.